Welcome to AutoSens, the world's leading community for ADAS and autonomous vehicle technology development. We create best-in-class training, events, and information for the purpose of connecting the global community of engineers, scientists, and automotive industry experts. We are joined today by two representatives from Immervision, Patrice Roulet, VP of Technology and the co-founder of the company, and then Sebastien Landry, who is the Director of Product Management of Automotive. Looking forward to this Q&A session. Sebastien, Patrice, welcome to AutoSens. Good to see you both.
Thank you, Carl. Likewise, we really appreciate to join you and to have this opportunity to talk about Immervision. So we appreciate that.
Indeed. Patrice, let's start with you, and let's start at the beginning, as we often do when we do these Q&A sessions with Immervision. Tell us a little bit about the company. Give us an overview of Immervision.
So believe it or not, so you maybe can see that on the on my face. So Immervision is a 20-ish years old company, focusing very much of wide-angle imaging. So we started this company. We were computer vision, image processing engineers, and we were chasing the best lens and the best camera. So 20 years ago, we decided to staff optical designer, camera system engineers helping us to build the camera of our dream. And that was the beginning of Immervision. And since then, we developed wide-angle camera system for many different industries, from mission critical, like space exploration, aeronautic, up to very tiny, high volume smartphone lenses. And we understand the world in between. So our way to operate is we like the innovation. So we innovate for our customers and help them to create product based on those innovations.
With those innovations, Patrice, and then that 2 decades of experience, let's talk about what solutions you offer the automotive industry. Tell us a little bit about that.
So basically, we can provide very good solution where there is a need of wide-angle imaging. And so where it is, for example, in-cabin monitoring. Now it's moved from traditional narrow-angle type of camera to wide-angle. Mirror replacement. So replacing the side mirror, for example, by camera to remove, to make the car energy efficient. ADAS and surrounding, that's also an area where we can contribute, bringing innovative camera to capture more of the surrounding of the car or downside the road. And to conclude, the low light sensing as well. We see that the low light sensing is becoming more and more a topic of interest and a problem to solve. So we invest a lot of brain power in this area.
Sebastien, I want to bring you into the conversation. Sebastien Landry, Director of Product Management of Automotive for Immervision. Sebastien, how does Immervision differentiate then from other solutions that are available today?
That's a good question. From a technology point of view, we have a pretty unique offer. We've been working on IPs. We have a lot of patents. And, we've been deploying this solution for more than 20 years. But for today, I'd like to talk a bit more about the processes, how we approach the design, the simulation, and the production. So from a design perspective, we approach this quite differently. Traditionally, a customer or a tier one, when they want to get a new camera system, a new lens, they will talk with lens vendor, and the language that we'll use is typically optical requirements. They will talk about the MTF, which is the image sharpness, the F number, which is the quantity of light that a lens will capture, field of view. There's a ton of these requirements. However, these companies are not necessarily optical experts. And there might be a gap between these requirements and their application or their system. And we'll see that very often they will tend to over-spec their optical requirement, meaning that the result might be a more expensive product. From our side, actually at Immervision, we have three fields of expertise. We have obviously lens optical designers, we have image sensing experts, and we have image processing software designers as well. So it allows us to understand the full vision pipeline up to the application. So when we engage with these clients, we will not talk at the beginning about optical requirements, but we'll talk about their needs for the application. For example, in a in-cabin application, we'll talk about the requirements, the resolution around the driver's face, for example. And then after that, our team will take those requirements and revert them back to the optical design. So we'll have a product or an IP that is more efficient. And also by understanding these requirements, we'll be able to play, for example, with the tolerance and have a product that will meet their targets, but will have a lower cost. From a simulation perspective, we have a pretty unique technology that we've developed in-house. As you can see on the screen, we developed a software that allows us to play with some of the optical parameters of the lens design. So what it allows us to do is to generate an output, an image that our clients can use to feed their system so they can appreciate the quality or the impact on their system. And we can have a loop, an iteration loop with them to play with this parameter and ensure that we have the most optimal product for them. Also, on the other hand, it allows us to reduce by a lot the risk associated with the development. Once you press go and go to manufacturing, we'll have some iteration that allows us to make sure that we meet the requirement. Talking about the production, finally, Immervision is a fabless company. So we don't produce, we produce IPs and technology. Typically, a lens provider, they have their own facility, their own manufacturing, so they have to work with technology that they master and they understand. In our case, we will actually develop a lens that fits best the customer. Afterwards, we'll select the fab that allow us to produce this technology. Over more than 20 years of developing and deploying technology, we've worked with a lot of different fabs. So that gives us the flexibility and the capability to, again, select the fab that will give the best technology and the best product.
Jean-Sebastien, thank you for sharing that depth and that explanation with us. With all of that said, and probably one of the most exciting questions I think we could ask right now, what can we expect from Immervision here in the near future?
Yeah, for this year, we started by announcing our new off-the-shelf automotive grade lens. It's a nice product that is ultra wide angle. It's broadband, so it can work in visible or RGB and also infrared spectrums. It was designed it was optimized for low light condition. So anything, for example, for in-cabin will be very well suited. And it can operate also from -40 to 105 Celsius, which is a requirement for automotive. It's a great product. It's versatile, it can be used for computer and human vision. And we have already engaged in different projects with this off-the-shelf lens. And the response so far by our client is actually very positive, especially around the quality, obviously, but more the low light performance. After that, now that we have this lens out and ready to be used, we are planning our next project, our next generation lens. For this one is going to be more specifically designed for in-cabin. So we are in the exploration phase. We are talking with different players, companies that are providing sensor, image signal processor, application, and even tier one. So we want to interview them and better understand their needs and their requirement to develop a lens that will address their needs for today, but that will also scale over time and provide a feature of tomorrow. We're talking about person classification, for example, in car, or adding any new comfort feature, adding video calls capabilities. So we're on this process right now. And finally, I think that the third big field of development, we are actively developing new technology for mirror replacements in different kind of projects. Finally, I would say we have also our R&D team is really busy working on advanced research project. But Patrice, who's leading that team, was actually what actually be the right person to give a bit more details about that.
Then let's do that. So Patrice, over to you. As Jean-Sebastien said, we're seeing more demand for mirror replacement. We know that there's work being done in that field. Tell us more, Patrice, about the solution that you're developing and some of the innovation that Immervision brings to the table.
Yeah, so the car efficiency and the aerodynamics become more and more important, right? With the EVs, even to save gas. So we work in those type of innovation in mirror replacement, first to reduce the size, right? So reduce the size of the mirror to make the car more efficient. So miniaturization is very important. And we already use those type of design miniature lens for smartphone industry, for example. So we know very much about it. We need to cover more as well with less camera. So wide angle is tremendous important. So, and that's our bread and butter. We do wide angle camera since 20 years now. So cover more with less camera. So that's what we try to bring to our customer, bringing them the best camera that fits their needs for mirror replacement. And the last but not least is night vision. So the camera need to be very efficient in a challenging lighting condition, like at night, but also when you get out from a tunnel and the light condition change very drastically in a short period of times. So that's where we bring innovation to our customer in this specific field of mirror replacement.
Jean-Sebastien, your thoughts here on this next question. How do you see cameras and vision systems for cars evolving here in the near future?
There's a big transformation that we're seeing in the automotive industry, and especially around the design and the architecture. We used to talk about horsepower, torque, the fuel efficiency, but there's a shift in people's interests. We're talking obviously about electrification, but also more about the comfort, the comfort and the infotainment of the cars. So people are more and more interested into that. As we hear, the car is becoming the third place for people. So one of the trends we're seeing is the software-defined vehicles. We're hearing this more and more. It's the capability for a car to upgrade their features through a software upgrade. So the beauty of this is a car can actually add or enhance functionalities of the car after it's out from manufacturing. This can be done even like while you're at home over over-the-air update, and you can add anything that would be more for safety or add again like comfort and infotainment feature. However, one thing that is important to consider is while you're able to upgrade the software, the car has to work with the hardware and components and sensor that the car was built with. And I'll talk about that a bit later. Related to that, another change is around the architecture of the car. We are going from a distributed to a more centralized approach. So from the distributed approach is actually you have a sensor, like it could be a camera, for instance, that is paired with a small processing unit. It's a one-to-one relation between the two. So what I mean is those sensors had a dedicated function. Now going to a centralized approach is you have the car has a bunch of sensors that they are all linked to a centralized processor, like a bigger computer. What it allows is first upgrading the software, and also the sensor can evolve over time. If we're taking an in-cabin example, a camera that is in the mirror can initially start by doing driver monitoring. But through a software upgrade, this could become not only a driver, but an occupant monitoring system, or even add video calling capability. So the important for these 2 points is, while we're seeing evolution, if you want to be able to deliver on the premise of the quality of the software-defined vehicles, it's important now that the Tier 1 and OEMs plan the hardware technology that will scale over time with the software improvement. For example, we're talking about having wide field of view cameras that support color and infrared, or even higher resolution. So this capability will enable OEMs or car makers to deliver the comfort and the user experience that their customer are expecting.
Patrice, do you have anything to add? Any final thoughts here on any of the topics that we've discussed?
Basically, just to complement what GS was telling to us about this kind of software-defined sensor, like a sensor that is planned ahead to be used for 10 years and be upgraded and bringing new innovation and new functionality in the vehicles. So what I would like to say is Immervision has always had 5 or 6 years in advance in the innovation. So we were always up front of the innovation curve for different industries, from mission critical to smartphones. And I believe that with the research we conduct in AI, in meta lens, in active lens or liquid lens, like moving part inside the lens design, we can help OEMs and tier one to define today the best solution that in hardware that will stay for 5-10 years in a vehicle and allow those upgrades. So I think Immervision is a good partner to work with in this spirit of bringing innovation for the next 10 years.
Absolutely. And both Patrice and Jean-Sebastien want to thank you both for your time. I enjoy when I get the opportunity to interview both of you and learn about Immervision whenever we have these AutoSens events. I always walk away with new knowledge. I always walk away feeling very enlightened and informed, and would absolutely agree that Immervision is a good partner to walk with. So I want to encourage all of our AutoSens and in-cabin viewers and attendees to follow Immervision on LinkedIn and to connect with Immervision and to look up the company after we get done with this interview here. Jean-Sebastien, Patrice, thank you so much for your time and sharing your thought leadership. We look forward to seeing you in person at AutoSens.
Thank you, Carl.
For more in-depth interviews like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow AutoSens on LinkedIn. For more information on our world-class events, visit auto-sense.com. That's auto-sense.com. In Detroit, on behalf of AutoSens, I'm Carl Anthony.